We are back now on the Chip Shot Football Podcast to get into more of our recaps after yesterday's action, starting off with one of the bigger games just in terms of the outcomes and circumstances of a win and a loss for the Cowboys and the Falcons. Because yesterday, Kirk Cousins and the Falcons handed the Dallas Cowboys their third loss in a row. 27-21 was the final score, and Atlanta now sit at 6-3, firmly in that first place spot in the NFC South. And the Cowboys, like I said, lose their third straight game and also lose another road game to go to 3-5. And on a positive note for the Falcons, right? For Kirk Cousins, he continues to grow. He continues to impress, especially at home. He had his third 3-touchdown game of the season so far for the Falcons. He's been everything you would have dreamed for when this move was announced, and he's just been exactly what they've needed there, getting the best out of Drake London. It was unfortunate that he got hurt because he started that game off pretty well with an impressive touchdown over Trayvon Diggs. So I feel like if he would have kept going, he probably was in line for a big day, but he didn't come back into the game after going out with a hip injury. But also on that note, he's getting more out of Kyle Pitts. We saw the game that he had last week. He's enhanced the running game even more because of his ability to pass and the play action and whatnot. Bijan's looked a lot better. Tyler Allgeier's doing his thing as well. Again, Darnell Mooney is looking like anything except what anybody would have thought about what Darnell Mooney was going into this year. I did not expect Darnell Mooney to look like this, but he continues to score and really be a very good number 2 to Drake London. It's pretty crazy how great he's playing. And, on top of that, and encompassing this entire season so far for the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, has the Falcons playing right now in line for them to have a winning season, which would be their first one since 2017, believe it or not. And again, first place in the NFC South. They've won their 5th game in the last 6 games that they have. And they had a great day in pressure, not just all offense, right? Because the offense has really been the main story for this Falcons team. On defense, they got to Dak Prescott 3 times, despite them being in last place in the NFL with 6 sacks entering yesterday's game. They're obviously up to 9 now. But again, you look at that, that's impressive for the Falcons, but I don't know if that says more about the Cowboys than it does really about the Falcons and the pressure they're able to generate. But still, that's something very positive to take for the Falcons. Just overall, very complete performance, I would think, yesterday for Atlanta, and that's why they got the win. Also, just touching on some of the notable performances, Kirk, he had 3 touchdowns, like I said, 222 yards. He was only sacked twice, and he was 19 of 24, so a very efficient day for him. Bijan, he did his thing, 19 carries, 86 yards. Tyler Allgeier scored the one rushing touchdown that the Falcons had in this game. Darnell Mooney, like I said, continuing to perform. 5 receptions, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Ray McLeod scored another one. Drake London scored the first one of the game. Kirk Cousins did fumble twice, and he did lose one of them. But, other than that, it's a pretty blemish-free performance from the Falcons. Whereas on the other side, getting to the main protagonist of the story, we have the Dallas Cowboys. A very bad day for them, other than the loss, because I don't think many people expected them to win. But when the game was close, then you had those injuries to Dak and to CeeDee, unfortunately, which we're going to touch on. But in the time being, Dak Prescott overall, before he got injured, he finished with 133 yards, a touchdown, sacked 3 times, like I said, and also a not bad 18 of 24 as well. He didn't turn the ball over. That's something we wanted to see more out of him. But again, unfortunately, he was injured in this game. Rico Dowdle had a great, insane touchdown catch, honestly, which kept the Cowboys in the game. He finished with 12 carries for 75 yards. And Jake Ferguson was I would say he was the main leading receiver in this game just because he had 7 receptions for 71 yards. CeeDee had 8 receptions but only 47 yards. He had a couple drops in there as well, which was pretty uncharacteristic of him. But yeah, I mean, when CeeDee is really the only thing the Cowboys have going for them. I think we're going to see more games like this where teams are just taking him out of the game or just limiting him to a couple yards, short route catches, and things like that. He's not really making a huge impact in the game. For as much as he's getting targeted and getting receptions, to only finish with 47 yards and no touchdowns, it's not really affecting the game as much as you would like. So that's really what I have on the performances side of things. But now looking at the game and how it all played out, I mean, it's just all about the Cowboys. Because of the fact that the Falcons, executed on a lot of things. I liked a lot of what they did offensively. Really, the level of just disappointment and even like disgust that I have come to realize with the Cowboys, really from just the beginning of this game on a only the second, third down of the game. This was pointed out at some point today while I was watching like SportsCenter or something. They pointed out today that on the second, third down of the game, the Cowboys had 10 guys on the field, and I mean, usually you get caught with too many guys on the field, but for you to not have enough guys on the field is like, I don't even know how you even do that, for anybody to not realize you have 10 guys or not have enough guys out there on the field. It was pretty bad, and it only got worse from there because, that was a pretty big third down that they could have gotten off the field, but not enough guys on the field. Obviously, the Falcons convert pretty easily, and the bad decisions only continued on from there. Another bad call, and I'm shaking my head because when I see a 4th and 1 call and I see any quarterback lined up in a shotgun, I'm pretty sure Dak was in a shotgun. If not, regardless of the fact, when I see a play where it's like a quick jet sweep going horizontal in a situation where it's 4th and 1 or 4th and less than a yard and you go horizontal, I can't explain how much I hate it and how much that play just irritates me. For the Cowboys to do that on a 4th and 1 and just have it completely be blown up and just not work at all, and CeeDee receive the handoff and just go backwards right away as soon as he touched the ball. And then you see Mike McCarthy, slamming the tablet and whatnot. I mean, he's the one calling the plays. I don't know how you ideally call the play, obviously, to have it work, right? No one thinks the play is not going to work, but there's going to be so many other plays you could run in that situation. Dak is a big quarterback. You could just sneak it. I don't understand the reason for running something so complex in a way that, it just feels like they're doing too much. I don't understand the call there, running it horizontal instead of just going vertically, obviously in a short yardage situation. So that really angered me or just annoyed me watching that play be called. And, the score was 14-10 to start the second half, albeit through the bad mistakes and everything like that. And Dallas got the ball only down 4 to start the second half as well. So they're working with something here, right? They're not out of the game. But, it looks like they're going 3 and out once they go through their three downs and they're set up to punt and whatnot. And again, just a weird call where they decide to run a fake punt. Again, it just feels like they're doing too much because they're running the fake punt, and it looks like the gunner on the right sideline where the punter was throwing to, it either looks like he has no idea what the timing is of the play or that he's even getting the ball, because the punter just throws it anyway to a spot, trying to back shoulder the throw, I guess. And the gunner, I don't even know who it was, just has no idea that the ball's coming and falls completely short, and the play looks really dumb in hindsight, right? Once it's done, the play looks really just uncalled for, just completely just unnecessary at that point because they were only down 4. So for you to call that play right then and there, it's not like you were down 14 or anything like that. For you to throw all caution to the wind and throw a fake punt just on the first drive after halftime, only being down 4, I really didn't understand that call as well. And, that's another turnover for the Cowboys in this game. And, it never felt like Atlanta really was at risk of losing it. I mentioned they were only up 4, but even then, when you see these plays be called, the 4th down, the 10 guys on the field, this fake punt, and also just miscommunications on the Darnell Mooney touchdown. They had a bunch formation on the right side, and Darnell just goes completely uncovered down the sideline. Nobody accounts for him, no communication or anything. When you see all those plays stack up, it's just makes you feel like the Falcons are going to have to really lose this game for the Cowboys to win, quite honestly. And then from that point on, after the fake punt, Atlanta scored 2 touchdowns to outlast the Cowboys 27-21, while the Cowboys only got a field goal and a touchdown in the second half. So, this Cowboys team, not only was it the questionable play calls and things like that, which really irritated me, it was the 9 penalties as well. And just overall, each time I watch the Cowboys play, I'm just left feeling like this team is, I don't know, it's either not really 100% sold on the game plan, they all don't know the game plan, or they're just so discombobulated on game day. They're just thrown off very quickly off of the game plan, and everything is just very sloppy. They're disorganized and everything like that, and it's just, you just don't see any sort of light at the end of the tunnel for where you see a play or you see a game and think, all right, now they've gotten it going. Over the last couple weeks, it's never felt like you've had that moment where you're thinking, all right, they had a good series or had a good drive. All their positive moments come at the end of the game where, it all feels like it's lost already and they score once or twice and you think they're going to make it a game, but it never turns out to be the case. So it's just become a habit now at this point for this team. And with the injuries now also to 2 of the guys that pretty much do the only thing well for this team, I don't know if it could get much worse than it is right now with the injury to Dak, with that hamstring injury. It was reported that he is set to miss multiple weeks now, so I don't know where you go from here. CeeDee Lamb is supposed to get an MRI done, or was supposed to get an MRI done today on an AC joint injury. I didn't see anything on him. I only really saw anything on Dak, so I'll look at that and see if I can find anything. But, the next 3 weeks, now they're sitting at 3-5. They play the Eagles next without Dak Prescott, so I don't think anybody has them winning that game. For as shaky as Houston looked, I'll be super surprised if the Cowboys win that one. And then they play the Washington Commanders after that. Their next 3 weeks, this team could be at 3-8 in the next 3 weeks. And then really, it's going to be really bad, but I don't think it would really change anyone's feelings. I think everyone now is realizing that this season is pretty much out of the reach now of this Cowboys team. And am I saying should they start fire sailing everybody tomorrow to meet the deadline and maybe get something back and completely punt away this season? That's unlikely. I don't think Jerry Jones would just concede like that. But I don't know. I don't think it'd be too crazy to consider anyone like Brandon Cooks, DeMarcus Lawrence maybe, especially after this news about Dak. For as stubborn as Jerry's been on this team and how truly he will die with this team and think that instead of admitting that they're bad, I don't know how confident he could stand really in front of anybody and think that this team is going to win games now, especially without Dak Prescott. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Jerry says the rest of the week, considering now what we know about Dak. So, that was a pretty bad showing on Sunday. It's not going to look too great or too much better as we go on through the rest of the season, considering these injuries. But we're going to stick on the Cowboys. We're going to go to a quick break right now, but when we return, we're going to stick with the Cowboys and talk about those injuries and just how we've come to this realization. I'm stating it now that this season, in my opinion, is done for the Cowboys, and I'm going to explain why in the next segment. So stick around and listen to that once we return after this break.